Hey guys, and welcome back to the 415 podcast with your girls, Miss B and Keto. What up? What up? What up? What up? Miss B, how you doing? How you doing?
If I don't get out this house, that's all I got. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I got.
That's it. Cabin fever has set in.
Hello.
Oh man.
Yes.
Well, guys, we want to first say hey, and when this episode come out, it will be Wednesday, and guess what? That's your girl's birthday.
Birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. April 1st.
One time for the birthday chick. Hey.
Yep.
Hey. Also, we would like to introduce our special guest. His name is Dvante Black.
Hey.
Yes.
Come on, Grammy Nominated.
Dvante.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
We
Awesome. I'm great, man. Long week.
Tell us about it. How are you and the family holding up during this pandemic?
Oh, all is well. And then in the process, we just bought a house. So
Ooh, congratulations.
been moving. Yeah, appreciate it. I thank you.
That's what's up. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So in the process of all this madness, been moving, straighten up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ain't no sports. You rocking a Falcon hat right now. Ain't no sports happening right now.
No, A-Town forever, man. Win or lose.
Okay.
Come on, Eagles. No, come on, Philly Eagles. Let's go.
A-Town.
Now I love A-Town. I'm always there, but I'm just saying. I don't know about the Falcons though.
Nah.
Oh,
not the Falcons.
Listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, she don't want to say who she with, but
I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't have no problem with that, honey.
My wife's mom calls the Falcons the Foul Huns. I say, oh, really?
That's too funny.
That's hilarious. Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are Pittsburgh fans. Pittsburgh. Everything
Wow.
Pittsburgh. Everything.
I hear that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
We're so excited for you to be on. I know it's been a minute because we met last year, May-ish.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
It was like really dope. We met at a what was it, like a love panel?
Relationship panel.
Yeah, ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chanel ministry event.
Yeah, so like
yeah.
I remember I still don't know how to use my camera. You was helping me. I'm still lost. I don't know. But that's it was so good to meet
we
you
all
and
need
catch up.
We always learn something new every day.
Right.
Part. Yeah, that part.
Mm-hmm. And then even though we learned it that day, we're gonna forget it
again. Look, what they
exactly. Especially if you don't use it every day.
Right. How many days before it becomes a habit? They say 14? I forget. Or is it 30 days?
More than likely.
Yeah. But we just want to
our attention span is very minimal.
Especially these days. Woo.
You gotta be quick.
How many times y'all walk to the fridge thinking something gonna magically appear? Same stuff in there.
Yep.
But yeah, we wanted to chop it up with you and kind of get an understanding of what it is to be a mastering engineering.
Oh, mastering engineer. So basically what I do, I take a record and I enhance the sounds. So I take I don't deal with the individual tracks. I deal with the actual song itself, the stem of the final mix of the song. So I take that and I enhance it. And what you hear on the radio is the final. Which we enhance we brighten it, we
make it
hit crisp, but we make the low end hit, the bass, all that stuff that you hear, and make it so it'll sound good on all platforms.
Gotcha.
Because every platform have different specs, so you have to be able to get it to the point where it'll play with any other record on that device. So
do you have to?
Oh, go ahead.
So do you have to have multiple versions of the track? so that it meets all the specs on different platforms?
Well, no, I mean, normally the person should know how to send a song for mastering.
Got
But
it.
yeah, you do come across people that don't, but they just like what they like. So
Right.
you just have to deal with what you have and still make the best out of it. Because at the end of the day, is your name on it. So you got to make sure you make the best out of it. And then if it's something that you just know you don't want to mess with because your name is on it, you just sometimes got to say no.
True.
Like, I'm good on that record, because I've had to do it multiple times. So
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. Like, so I noticed, like, just looking at like shows like Love and Hip Hop and stuff, you see so many people in the studio. Is that how your setup is, or is it really just you?
Well, no, my setup is not like that. Yeah. Well, initially when I started working out of bigger studios, that's how the setup was there. But at home, you can set up your space like that. But for what I do, I don't really need all of that. I have a lot of analog gear and things like that that I use, and I kind of created my own kind of soundscape situation that gives my own sound give my masters a different sound. So I always try to just think out the box when I do things. And you don't need a huge space, especially these days. It's not even, you can record a whole album in your basement or in the closet. And like, I forget the girl name who just run like 8 Grammys and they did everything in the bedroom.
She's shy. She real shy. Summer Walker?
Yeah, no, not her.
Normani?
The white girl. Oh, Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah, with her brother.
Yeah, they did the whole project in the bathroom.
Wow.
That's dope. I mean,
at
it's
the
like
hotel, and they got all them Grammys for it.
So that goes to me wanting to ask you this question. So when you're coming to mastering certain songs, right? Mm-hmm. Now I've had the privilege and opportunity to be in and sit in on studio sessions, right?
Right.
Some artists can be lazy, right?
Very.
And you some artists can be lazy, especially when it comes down to layering certain verses in the track, right? And some of them, they like to actually rap or sing out each verse in the track. If they have like a certain note, instead of just copying that note 3 times, they actually want to actually sing that note 3 times. So, and some artists are perfectionists. I've noticed that. So is it like easier to master those records instead of mastering the ones like that are kind of like depending on what their sound is? Because some people everybody don't sound great on records.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject.
You can come back for part
2. Those records, I mean, you can get people that do records like that, and then you can get people that do it's an effect called Vocaloid. Vocaloid is it's a plugin that you can sing a line, and what you do is attach the Vocaloid to it, and what it does, it will create whatever that last take you did. It will, if you made a mistake on the second take, it will make that second take flow the same way as that first take you just did to keep it and make it smooth and make everything flow together. So that Vocaloid instrument is real good for that. But with the mixing engineer job is to make sure those things are taken care of. They're supposed to make sure that everything is smooth, lined out. When they sent it to me, they should have approved everything, all the effects. They should have made sure that snare is hitting exactly where they want it to in the beat. So when I get it, all I need to do is make sure I'm making everything shine bright and making sure that low end is hitting how they want it. You know, whatever it is, specific things that they're looking for in the song, I try to make sure that I bring it out, you know, just to enhance it. It's not to take away from that mix, it's just to enhance that mix. And that's a lot of things. A lot of times, engineers who don't want to pay for mastering, or I mean, artists that don't want to pay for mastering, what they do is get their mix engineer to add 2 L2s, which it makes their song stuffy. I don't know if y'all ever heard some songs and then you be like, I can't really hear. It's like real stuffy, sound like you talking with bubble gum in the mouth.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like they add too much on it, so it phases. It phases out. So then the song ends up sounding. An engineer turns muddy. You know, just real stuffy. So.
Cause I know. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because I know I've even as a, you know, as being younger, I used to like listen to music and have my eyes closed or whatever, and I can hear and start pulling out each instrument that I can hear in the, you know, in the song, and I'm like, oh, that's what that said. Oh, I can hear that. Okay, so it's like you're just pulling that out to the front a little bit to make it say, okay, this is what's going on in this.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, just brighten it up so you can hear everything in the song. Because the mix engineer, they gets it right, but then you give it to me so I can sonically make sure that it's good to the ear, make sure that when the person is actually listening to it, it's not hurting their ears, because all of that stuff, it takes account for everything. So that's why every person has their job, you know, which everybody want to do everybody's job so they can get everybody's money. But, you know, everybody has a job, and, you know, the tracking engineer has a job, which is the first person you see to get the song recorded. The second person is the mixing engineer. After the mixing engineer, then it comes to mastering. After mastering, depending on what you're trying to do with it at that point, and then you just send it for distribution or what MP3, iTunes, or wherever you want to distribute it to.
Got it. Okay. Nice. So I guess I have 2 questions. So can you explain low end, and then also when you're just listening in a car, like, or on your phone to different, you know, new artists that come out, in your mind, if you didn't, you know, work on it, are you like, oh, they should have did this, they could have did this better, or something like that?
Yeah, all the time. We always, you know, being an engineer is a very difficult world, because you hear things and you be like, oh man, they should have did this. Oh man. You know, that's just like a lot of people talking about the what's his name? Uzi Vert, his new project, the deluxe version. They talking about the mixes, which I know the girl who does the mix, all his mixes, but she didn't do some of the mixes. So because everybody knows that she mixes his songs, they all bashing her and all of that. But those wasn't her mixes. But when you're known to do somebody's stuff, then everybody gonna always say, "Oh, it was you, it's you, it's you."
Yeah.
You know, but it's like some of his mixes on his songs are horrible. But it wasn't on her. You know, they more than likely they want her to mix those records. And they wanted somebody else, a different person to do it. Sometimes they want a different sound or a different whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you get that, you have to worry about those different things. Yep.
Yeah. And what's low end?
Low end is bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, low end is bass. Mid is bringing out everything in the center and pushing it up. And then you got the high pass, which is like the highs that makes it crispy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so all of those different things, what makes a nice song. And then you got your compressor, which makes the song kind of not go too much into the red.
Okay.
You know, just compress it. It's just like any you know, like anytime you hear somebody say compress, don't over compress something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, like if you over compress something, it's gonna be
Right.
and then just start. Yeah, so yeah, it's all
Okay.
the same. It all has the same meaning, same thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So how did you get into it? Did you have to get a degree in this? Like, is this something you can just do on your own?
Well, I didn't get a degree in it. What happened was I had started out as a kid. You know, I started singing, and I was a singer.
What? Come on, sing.
I wrote my little first song as a
Damn.
in school at Christian Academy, a little church rap thing that I
Oh.
had did at Green Forest Christian Academy, and that's in Decatur.
And where's Greater?
Decatur, yeah.
Decatur West Greater,
But yeah, cause see, the only reason I went there, cause I grew up in foster care, so I was actually in a foster home at the time. So with a new parent, you know, a new foster parent.
Gotcha.
And so I went through that, and she put me in the school, and then I figured out I had some type of talent. So I just, from there, then I started singing, and from there, I was in these little singing groups, still trying to figure out myself, and then try to figure out, you know, my purpose in life. Like, why am I in the system anyway? Because, you know, I'm in the system, and I'm like, I'm still confused, so I'm running away a lot. So just still, and I'm out in the midst of all this, I'm beat people. And then they sing too, hanging out at the underground, and we just out there all
the
the time.
underground.
Yeah, so all of that, man, it's just being around like all different types of people and you know, experiencing stuff and trying to figure out what I really wanted to do with myself, and just making bad choices in order to find out, you know, what I really want to do, was basically helping other people. So as a singer, I did that. Then I got tired of that because I had been in the groups. I had been in all these different singing groups, and we've done a lot of stuff. And then and things never panned out how I was supposed to.
Right.
And then I got into the recording side. Then I started managing artists. Then I started mixing records, and then from there, just, you know, the managing. I was managing this artist. Her name was Chelsea, but she went by as a kid Nerd Star. So and we did real good. We wrote some dope records, and yeah, she had a big following and everything, man. It was just crazy. I was like, oh, okay, these little kids be going at it, you know.
And this is before social media.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now she's 21. Yeah, 20. Or she'll be 21 this year. She's about to be 21. Yeah, so this is back when she was, what, 12, 13 or something? Yeah, so, yeah, so she's still working on stuff too, and she in college. And, you know, just doing all of that. And then I was like, I needed another challenge.
Right.
And so I was like, mastering. I see all these white guys doing mastering. And, you know, I'm like, what? Let me see. Why is it on the white guys doing it? And it can be a little redundant, and it's like really not, it ain't no, oh, I have everybody in the studio type thing or all that. You know, you got to be, I mean, definitely in peace, and mine got to be right, because you listening to loud music, like to the max in your ears. So,
got it. Okay.
You know, so you got to really pay attention to a lot of different things when it comes to mastering. So I just figured out I wanted to do that. You know, I was like, man, let me do this. I don't see no black guys really doing it. And, you know, so I was like, let me just do this. And then I was just trying to, you know, always promote myself, just letting people know as a black guy here mastering music. So,
dopeness.
You know, yeah, man. So, and it was kind of, a lot of people didn't really see that a lot. And,
yeah. You got a good story. You got a good story. Like pretty much overcoming like the whole foster care thing, like, you know, being able to like withstand that, and on top of trying to find yourself and your purpose. Like that's huge.
got to, because luckily I was blessed with a foster parent who wanted to help me and not give up on me, because I was bad as hell. So it was a challenge, because I was out here like not knowing why I was in foster care. But then as I got older, I understood it. But now, then, you're a kid, you like, man, fuck everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's true, yeah.
So, I've been in over 30 different foster homes, been in group homes, shelters, I was out on the street, a lot of different things. But, by her being a preacher, she also prayed for me all the time, even though I wasn't paying no attention.
Right.
But all of that stuff, it helps actually.
It's true. That grandmama prayer, like they say.
Right.
Carry you through.
Yeah, that thing carry you through, man. And it's just a blessing to be able to be here. I got my first baby.
Yeah, congrats. I was like, oh, look at that baby.
I know, at 39 years old, I had my first baby.
I'm 36
I made it through. I made it through.
Go on and sing that note. I hear you. Go on and sing that note.
I made it through. I'm just playing.
Come on, somebody. It's Sunday too. Let's go.
Yeah, but
it's true.
sound like somebody granddad.
Hey, that's true.
Hey, look, people already. I know everybody already say I look like them all the time.
Come on, David, man.
Yeah, they be saying that all the time, Mr. Brown.
Long as your knees ain't ashy. Long as your knees not ashy.
No ashy knees. No ashy knees.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So like, this may be a little personal, but let me know. Have you like connected with any of like your biological family since being in the system?
I mean, I even tried to connect back then. They didn't really, they were accepting, but I never felt it. But as times progressed, it's gotten better.
Oh, that's good.
Like now it's a little better, but back then I felt like an outcast or whatever. Because, at the end of the day, my sister, she didn't have to go through this. She didn't grow up in foster care. I'm the one that grew up in foster care. She stayed with family. I stayed in the system. So it's like all I know is that. I don't know them. So it's like, so, but definitely I'm blessed and I'm excited that I grew up the way I grew up, because if I would have grew up some other type of way, I don't know where the hell I probably would be.
True.
Right.
True.
So you got to think about, a lot of people, they don't think about like those things. They just think about the negative side. I think about like, where would I be now if I didn't go through what I went through?
Sure.
Because we go through situations for reasons to prepare us to be able to help somebody else in the long run.
Come on and speak on this good Sunday. Come on now.
So it's always
go on, give it to the people.
It's always good to, try to be a blessing, to be able to spread positive stuff and, be able to help in any way, because I like to speak to the kids and just let them know. Because even with me being Grammy nominated and all that stuff, I still have a daytime gig, and I've been with my job for 20 years.
Wow.
Right.
And, people don't even know that, but it's like, and I try to tell these kids, there's nothing wrong with having a job, because like in the state we're in now, like a lot of people not working, and I work for the Department of Labor. So, and that's the crazy part. That's like, wow. So a lot of people that I know who I'm able to help right now, I'm trying to make sure I give them as much information as possible. That's just the person I am. I want to be able to try to help people and be able to let them know, hey, it's going to be okay. They working on things to make sure people get some kind of income, money's coming in, It's definitely resources out here that's about to happen to be able to help people. But that's just always been my thing, helping people. We are so selfish at times, and don't want to help nobody. So by the grace of God, I'm glad I'm not like that. You know,
I'm telling you. Yeah. No, when we met you, you were just like, your energy was just everything. Just so easy to gravitate toward. You're so helpful, and look, we just like literally sparked the conversation. So,
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely do like helping people. And that's kind of us too. You know, we love to be out there. If we have some info that we can share, we like to do that. So.
Oh yeah. Most deaf.
Yeah.
That's how it should be, man. But it's crazy people not like that. You know, so that's why situations happen how they happen. People so self.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
So if you don't mind, if we can jump out and come right back in, because we don't want to get disconnected.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we're going
part 2, guys.
Part 2.